Measures of central tendency are also referred as the averages. And when we say that they are averages, they are those single values that act as representative of the entire data. Let's say, for example, we have data like the exam results. Students sit for an exam, and then the results are released. So you will find that those results need to be analyzed, and we normally calculate what we refer as the mean score. We normally calculate the mean score of that particular class. The mean is actually one of those measures of central tendency. So when we say that the mean score of the class was maybe 60%, it does not necessarily mean that anybody or everybody who did that exam scored 50 or 60%. That is actually the single value that is used to measure the performance of the entire class, but the entire class did not score that particular score for all of them. Actually, you find that the mean score can be 60%, but there is somebody who scored 80%. There is somebody who scored 30%. But when we add all the marks and then we divide by the number of students who did that particular exam, we get the mean. And that mean is what now we are calling is a measure of central tendency. It is going to be used to generalize the performance of the entire class. So those measures are actually three in number. We have got the mean, we have got the median, and we have got the mode. These three are the measures of central tendency we are referring to, where the mean is actually the real average. The real average. So, like for example, if you have got this score, maybe somebody scored 50%, the other one scored maybe 65%, the other one scored maybe 70%, the other one maybe scored 40%. We can be able to calculate the mean here. The mean will be given by 50 plus 65 plus 70 plus 40, then we divide by 4 because they were 4 students who did that particular exam, and we are going to get actually the mean. In this case, we can define it as x bar, x with a dash on top of it. So that is actually what we refer as the mean. So the value we get here, it is going to be taken as the general performance. We can actually be able also to calculate the mean maybe of the height of students. We can measure the height of all the students, and then we get the mean height. We can be able to go outside there and maybe correct data to do the profit that was registered by different businesses, which maybe are trading in the same industry. We correct their data or the profit from company A, company B, company C, company D. After getting all of them, we can be able to get the mean profit for all of them. Anyway, the mean can be actually an average for any data that you have corrected. It can be mass, it can be age, it can be weight, it can be height, anything. So long as you have that data, you can be able to calculate the mean. When we talk about the median is that value that occupies the middle position. The middle position value is actually what we refer as the median. And we take that particular value as the representative of the entire data. So when we are trying to find out how was the performance of a particular class after an examination, we can actually use the median mark to be the general performance of that particular class. Instead of calculating the mean, we can actually get the median mark. Like for example, if the scores were maybe 40, 60, 55, 30, 42, 57, like that, and maybe we can say we had somebody with 71. So for you to be able to get the median, the first thing you do is to arrange these particular scores from the smallest to the highest. You arrange them from the smallest to the highest. So the smallest here is 30, followed by 40. So 30 followed by 40, followed by 42, then followed by 55, then followed by 57. This one has been considered. Then from there we go to 16. Then from there we go to 71. So this is actually the scores from the smallest to the highest. Then you take the mid to value. You take the mid to value. If you are able to see, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have got 7 figures, and the mid to value is what? 55. Such that from 55, we have got 3 numbers on the upper side, and we have got 3 numbers on the lower side. That is actually the median, and we can actually say that the performance of this class is that they had an average of 55%. We take it as an average. Then the other, or the last measure of central tendency is what we call the mode. The mode, it is the value that is most repeated. The score that is most repeated in a distribution is what we refer as the mode. So, if for example we have a score size, maybe 36, 42, 58, 59, 47, 46, 47, and maybe we have 61, then we have 47. Like that, we can actually say that the general performance of this class is that most of them is called 47, and the general performance is actually 47%, and that is actually as a, or on the basis of the mode as a measure of central tendency. So you need to know that the measures of central tendency, they are 3. And these measures of central tendency are simply those single values. Just a minute.
Kate, ever explain mode?
Yes. Esther.
Mode. Amesema nini mode?
Mode.
Yeah.
Amesema it's the value that's most repeated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Any question?
Mwalimu, kindly repeat mode.
I repeat.
Mode.
Mode.
Mode. Yes.
Yes, mode. It is actually that value that is most repeated. The value that is most repeated after you have corrected your data, the value that will appear to be most repeated is your mode. So in this case, remember 47 has been repeated 1, 2, 3 times. It has been repeated 3 times. And when you look at the other, that 6 is appearing once, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one. Because 47 is the one that is appearing more number of times, then the mode is 47. So mode is basically the value that is most repeated. The value that is most repeated. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope you are satisfied. I've not actually had what you have said. So I will start our discussion now on this particular basis. When we talk about data, these are actually the figures you correct. These are the figures you correct in your research or in your fact finding. This data is normally of two types as far as calculating the measures of central tendency is concerned. This data can be either be grouped or let me start with what we call ungrouped. It can be referred as ungrouped or what we call the grouped. We can have the ungrouped data and the grouped data. The ungrouped data, this one is also referred as the raw data. The raw data, whereby we just list the values individually. We just list the values individually. Like for example, if we have 18, 21, 26, 30, 40, maybe 29, this kind of data is referred as ungrouped data. When we just list the numbers and we separate the numbers by commas, we just separate the numbers by commas, that data is normally said to be ungrouped. We also have another type of data which we refer as grouped. Instead of having this data like this, we can decide to say from maybe 20 to 25, 25 to 26, 26 to 30. We can actually have them in this, and then here we count how many are between 20 and 25. We come here and we say 20 and 25, maybe there are one. We just say here the frequency is 1. Those which are between 25 and actually supposed to be that here. And here we have 30 to 35, something like that. Those who are between 26 and 30, 26 and 30, we actually have this and this one. Maybe you say there are 2 between this and this, maybe you find there are 3. When you organize your data in this way, they are said to be grouped. So group, it is when we have got what we call classes. And these are the classes. These are the classes that we have. These are the classes. The class of 20 to 25, 1 person. Those who scored maybe 25 to that much, they were 2. Those who scored between 30 and 35, they were 3. When we put them in such particular manner, we normally say that data is now grouped. So when we shall be calculating the measures of central tendency, we shall now see how do we calculate these measures of central tendency when the data is ungrouped. How do we calculate the measures of central tendency when the data is grouped? And then we get the differences. So we start with ungrouped data. And actually, that is the example that I was giving here. Measures of central tendency. From ungrouped data. So the first one we shall have is what we call arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean, or simply the mean. The mean is obtained by the sum of x over n. The sum of x. So in statistics, we are going to make use of this particular sign very much. We are going to make use of this sign very much, and this simply means that the sum. So, or the sum of. So when we say, or you put that sign in front of x, it simply means that the sum of x. The sum of x. And what we know about the sum, it is the addition. So it simply means we add all the x values. So this is to say, this is the same as x1 plus x2 plus x3 all the way to the last x, which we normally say is xn. Then we divide by the number of those x's. So x1, x2, x3, up to xn are simply the values. E.g., the scores of students who sat an exam, who sat for an exam are, we have 42, 47, 48, 50, 49, like that. Then you will realize that the mean would be given by, remember this 43 is like our x1, 47 is our x2, 48 is our x3, this is x4 and x5. So we have got 3 values here. So the mean, also 5 values, the mean will be equal to the sum of these x, 42 plus 47 plus 48 plus 50 plus 49, then we divide by 5. Then we divide by 5 because we had 5 values. And that one will give you the mean. That one will give you the mean. So it is simply the sum of the x's, and then we divide by those numbers. How many were the numbers? How many were the numbers? In this case, we had 5 numbers or 5 figures, so we divide by 5, and that one gives you the mean. So in the way you shall be finding this sign, just remember it is talking about the sum. So you just add the values that are in front of that sign. So we just add the x's, and the x's are these values. The values that we have are represented as x, and you can be able to do that very easily. That is how we get the mean for ungrouped data. For ungrouped data. Remember, I don't want you to lose track. We say ungrouped data is data or figures that are just separated by commas. When we write them like this, they are simply known as ungrouped data. Ungrouped data. Then, this was number 1. Number 2, we have got the median. How do we calculate the median from the ungrouped data? The median, it is actually the value that occupies the middle position, as we say. You just do this, arrange the values in ascending, in either ascending or descending order. And rotate the middle value. In this case, if we arrange our data, we use this data that we had. You start with the smallest, which is 42, followed by 47, followed by 48, followed by 49, followed by 50, like that. Your data is arranged. After you have arranged your data, you locate the number that is at the middle. You locate the number that is at the middle. In this case, the middle number is what? 48. So our median is going to be equal to what? 48. Our median is going to be equal to 48. The value that is at the middle. The value that is at the middle. So that is it for the median. But remember, sometimes you can have values maybe which are even. You can have even number of values. Remember, this one is very easy because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 is an odd number. When it is an odd number, it is very easy to locate the middle value. Sometimes you can be given values like this. Maybe you are given 48, 49, 46, 48, and then you have 50, 52, 47. Just this. And then maybe we have 53. And you are told determine the median mark. These were the marks. So the procedure means there is no way you can be able to calculate the median if the data is not arranged. The data must first be arranged. The data must be first arranged. So if you arrange this one, the smallest one is 46, followed by 48, followed by 48 again. We have 248.
There is 47, teacher. There is 47.
Okay, yeah, there is 47. Thank you. There is 47. So we have captured that. Then we go to 48, because they are two. This 46 has been considered. Then we go to 49. Then we go to 50. Then we shall go to 52. And then we finish with 53. Those values are now arranged from the smallest to the highest. If you look at this, these numbers, they are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because they are 8, there is no one specific number that is going to appear at the middle. There is no one value that is going to give us the median. Remember, the middle position in this case is actually here. This is where we have the middle position, such that we have got 4 numbers from the lower side and 4 numbers from the upper side. So there is no specific one number that is actually at the middle. The middle is somewhere in between the 2 numbers. So in that case, the median is going to be the average of those 2 numbers within which the median lies. The average of the numbers within which the median lies, in this case, is going to be given by 48. 48 plus 49, you divide by 2. So you find that the median is going to be equal to 48.5. So if the values are actually even in terms of their number, the median is the average of the 2 values. The median is the average of the 2 values within which the median lies. The average of the 2 values within which the median lies. So in books, you will find that they will tell you that the median position, they will tell you that the median position is given by n plus 1 over 2. It is the n plus 1 over 2, the position. That is actually the position. It is not the median value, it is the median position. Like for example, in our example here, n, remember, n is the number of values. N is the number of values. In this case, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our n is 5 because we had 5 numbers. Therefore, the median position or the position of median will be given by n plus 1 over 2, which is actually going to be 5 plus 1 over 2, which is the same as 6 over 2, which is actually the that. It is actually the that, meaning that the that value of the numbers that have been arranged in ascending or descending order is actually our median. Remember, this is the first value, the second value, the that. And actually, from what we have seen, the that value is 48. That is where we have our median. And actually, it is true. The that value is 48, and 48 is the value that is at the middle. 48 is that the value, 48 is the value that is appearing on the middle. The same case applies here. You can come here and say the median position. Remember, our n In this particular distribution, our n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our n is 8. So the median position will be equal to 8 plus 1 over 2, which will be equal to 9 over 2, which is equal to 4.5. And actually, remember that is not the median. 4.5, it is not the answer to the median. 4.5 is the position where the median is. So we have got the first, the third, the fourth, the first, the second, the third, the fourth. 4.5 is somewhere in between the fourth and the fifth. So we take the average of these two, because 4.5 is somewhere here. This is the first, second, third, fourth. 4.5, and then we go to the fifth. So because it is between these two numbers, we get the average of those two numbers. So remember here, when we take n plus 1 over 2, well, the answer we get is not the answer for the median. It will give you the position where the median is found. So after knowing the position, maybe it is that, as in the case here, you just go and identify the third number. You just go and identify the third number, and that is your median. If you find that it is 4.5, you just go and identify which is this number that is at the point 4.5. The 4.5, it is actually the average of these two. So the number that is between here is actually this plus this divided by 2. Any question up to that point? You seem to be comfortable, which is okay. We go to the third and the last. The third and the last measure of central tendency, which is the mode. And the mode here, as we said, as I was introducing the topic, the mode is that value that is most repeated. That value that appears to be most repeated is what we refer as the mode. Like, for example, from what we have on that end, the values we have there, we can realize that the only value that is most repeated is 48. 48 is the one that is most repeated, and you simply come there and say that mode is equal to 48. Simply say that the mode is 48, and that is the answer. Because 48 is appearing twice, while all the others are only appearing once. In some cases, the mode can be of two numbers. We can have the mode as two numbers. Like, for example, if we had another 50 here, if we had another 50 there, so we should come here and say that the mode is equal to 48 and 50. The mode is 48 and 50. Because 48 is appearing twice, 50 is appearing twice, so both of them are modes. But if we had another maybe 48 here, actually now the mode will be 48, because 48 will have appeared 3 times, and then 50 is only twice. You only consider the value that is being repeated more number of times than any other. But if you find that they are repeated the same number of times with another one, then you just list them as both the mode. Up to that point, I tend to feel that you are not bad off. I can now go to the grouped data. So far, the data that we have been handling is ungrouped. Ungrouped, as I say, it is when the values are just listed without having to group them. You list them and you separate them using the commas. You separate them using the commas. The values are said to be ungrouped. So in all these cases, even what we have here, they are simply ungrouped data. And we have seen how we get the mean from the ungrouped data. For the mean, you just add the values, you divide it by their number. For the median, the rule number 1 is arrange the values first, from the smallest to the highest. Identify the value that is at the middle. If the distribution is odd, it is going to be very easy to identify that single value that is at the middle. If the distribution is even, for the median, then you have to take the average of the two numbers within which the median lies. That is it. Then, in our next discussion, we shall ask ourselves, how do we calculate the measures of central tendency from the grouped data? If the data is grouped, how do we calculate these measures of central tendency? So, we talk about measures of central tendency from group data. So first of all, grouped data is data whereby the values are organized into classes. We have the classes, like for example, we have the class of 0 to 10. When we have it like that, this value on this side will normally refer to it as the lower limit. Whereas the other value on the right, we normally call it the upper limit. So if it is max, we simply mean that those who scored between 0 and 10, whereby the lowest is 0 and the highest is 10. How many students were they? Then on this side, we are going to have what we call the frequency. The frequency, it is the number of values that fall within this range from 0 to 10. How many values are falling within that particular range? So data that is organized this way is said to be grouped data. So you can find it maybe indicated as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Maybe these are the marks. And here now you are given number of students, which are actually now our frequency. So here you shall say this, or you are given this, that those who scored between 0 and 10, they were 3. Those who scored between 10 and 20, maybe they were 5. This one, they were 6. And maybe this one, they were 4. This kind of data is said to be grouped. This kind of data is said to be grouped. So the question we are asking ourselves is, how do we get the mean, the median, and the mode when the data is grouped like this? When the data is grouped like this. So let me take you through. So we start with the first one, which is the mean. Mean from grouped data. For grouped data, mean, it is normally represented as x with a dash on top of it. Is normally calculated by the formula, the sum of fx over the sum of f. That is how we get the mean. Remember I told you, whenever you see this sign, just know we are having the summation or the sum. So we just add all the fx's and f. Where here you need to know what is f, where f is the frequency, is the frequencies of the classes. F is the frequencies of the classes, and x is the midpoint of classes. Let us have a very simple example here to illustrate that. If you are given the data like this, maybe you are given the marks in the form of classes, and then here you are given the number of students. These are actually your frequencies. Yeah? I want us to have the example that I've just erased here 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, like that. That is enough for the start. Maybe here you say 3, 5, 6, and 4. Now you are told, find the mean score or the mean mark. Find the mean mark. So what you need to do is to get x first, determine the values of x for each and every class. Remember here, this is the class of 0 to 10, the class of 10 to 20, the class of 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Like here, we need that those students who scored somewhere between 0 and 10, or their score was between 0 and 10, maybe it is 1, 0, 1, 0, 6, 0, 8, they were 3. Those who scored any value between 10 and 20, they were 5. Those who scored between 20 and 30, they were 6. And 30 to 40, they were 4. So these are the classes. And they are classes, and that's why they are known as what? It is known as the grouped data. So what you do to get the value of x, you rotate the middle point of each and every class. Like for example, from 0 to 10, which is the middle value. How do you get that? You add the lower limit plus the upper limit divided by 2. So the x value, which is the middle point for this particular class, is going to be 0 plus 10, which is 10. 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. For this one, it's going to be 10 plus 20, which is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. For 20 to 30 class, the middle point is 20 plus that, which is 50, divided by 2 is 25. 30 to 40, we are going to have 30 plus 4, which is 70, divided by 2, 35. Those are actually the x values. And that is how you get your x. The lower limit plus the upper divided by 2, you get the x for this class. The lower upper divided by 2, you get the x for the next class. Like that, up to come to the end there. After getting your x values, you can now be able to get your fx. Fx means that we multiply the f value and the x values for each and every class. Like for example, our f for 0 to 10, the frequency was 3. That is our f. And our x for that particular class is 5. So 3 times 5 will give us our fx of what? 15. This one times that one will give us 75. This one, I think it's going to give us 150. If I'm not wrong. This one will give us 140. Like that. So you have your fx's. The fx for this class, the fx for this class, the fx for this class, like that. But remember here now you are told you what? You sum. So you shall add all the fx. The fx's for the first class, for the second, third, the fourth, so that now when you add them, you are going to get the sum. You are going to get the sum of fx. You are going to get the sum of fx. Simply, all the fx's, we add them for you to get the sum. If you add that, this one is 290. 290 plus 90 is going to be 380, if I'm not wrong. And then you add all your f values. Remember, we said this is the f, the frequency for the first class, for the second, for the third, for the fourth. If you add them, this is 10 plus 8 is going to be 18. So after doing that, now you can get your mean. You can be able to get your mean without any hassle. You can come here and say, I know the mean is given by the summation of fx over the summation of f. In this case, the sum of all the fx's, they were giving me 380, whereas the sum of all the frequencies is 18. You do that division and you get your mean, and remember the mean is represented as x bar. So it is as simple as this. Anytime you are told you get the mean of ungrouped data, your first responsibility is to get the x, which is the midpoint, MP, the midpoint. And how do you get the midpoint? Lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. You get your x values for each and every class. For each and every x value, you multiply by its corresponding frequency, you get your fx. Fx for the first class, and then if you add all the fx's, you are going to get the sum of fx. If you add the sum of f, you are going to get the sum of f. Divide the two, get the mean. Always in your exam, you will be given the table up to this point. You will be given the classes and the frequencies. That is what will be provided. For x and fx, you are the ones to create them. You are the ones to come up with them. You copy the table as given, then you add these two columns to yourself for you to be able to get the mean. For you to be able to get the mean. I want us to go to the questions that I shared with you. I shared with you some questions. We can do some illustrations of the same. Let us use the first question. The first question, we are given the salary. And this salary is in thousands. The salary is in thousands. That is earned by employees in a company. We have got those who are earning 10,000, 20,000. 20 to 30,000, 30 to 40,000, 40 to 50,000, 50 to 60,000, 60 to 70,000, 70 to 80,000, 80 to 90,000, and then we have 90 to 100,000. Those are the salaries in terms of classes. I know there is a bit of reflection. There is a bit of reflection, but I hope you are able to see. Then we have got the number of employees. Nobody will tell you this is your F, but you need to know that that is always your frequency. That is always your frequency. That the frequency, those who are earning from 10,000 to 20,000, they are 4 employees. 20,000 to 30,000, they are 24. 16, 12, 16, 6, 10, 8, 4. Those are the frequencies. Now, there is Roman 1, which says you calculate the mean salary. You calculate the mean salary. You need to understand that our mean is calculated by the summation of fx over the summation of f. That is how we do it. So it is our responsibility, first of all, to get the values of x. And I told you the x are just the midpoints of the class. The classes that you have here, you locate the middle point. And how do you do that? Add the lower limit plus upper divided by 2. If I add 10 plus 20 is 30 divided by 2 is 15. This plus this is 15 divided by 2 is 25. This and this is 70 divided by 2 is 35. 90 divided by 2 is 45. 110 divided by 2 is 55. 130 divided by 2 is going to be 130 divided by 2 is going to be 65, 75, 85, 95. Those are our midpoints. After getting the midpoint, you can now get the fx, the frequency times the x. Frequency x. You get the fx down the table, and I don't know if you will assist me with that. With those figures, this one is going to be what? 60. 24 times 25.
600.
Yes.
600.
I don't know. I don't know whether it is my speaker that is low. Let me confirm.
600.
600. I can now hear you correctly. The other one?
560.
560.
Yes.
The other one?
540.
540.
880.
880.
390.
390.
750.
750.
680.
Sorry?
680.
680.
And 380. 680. 680.
And then this 380. Okay.
Yes.
Now, can you add for me these values that are in the fx column? You just add the fx for the first class, second, you add all of them. And somebody else to add for me the summation of f, or the f's, or the fx.
FX is 4840.
4840. F.
$100.
100.
Yes.
After getting that now, you have got the value for fx is 4840. The value for the sum of f is 100. So our mean here will be 4840, which is the sum of all the fx's, divided by the sum of all the f's, which is 100. You will realize this one is going to be 48.4. 48.4 is our mean salary. Our mean salary. But remember, if you look at the table, we are told that these particular salaries they were given in thousands of shillings. So the actual mean is actually going to be 48.4 times 1,000, which will be 48,400, because the figures were in thousands. So the answer you get, you make it in thousand, so that now you can get the exact value. So the figures are actually in thousand. So the answer you get there, you need to make it in thousand by multiplying by 1,000. We go to the second question. Let us leave alone the part for the median because we have not discussed. We go to the second question. Even if the question is saying determine the following measures about the distribution height, the median, we just calculate the mean. We just calculate the mean as our third and last example. We use that table. Whenever you are given the table that is actually horizontal like that, you make it vertical. You arrange your values in a vertical form. So we say that we have the height, and the height now you record it downwards, 140.50. Those are the heights. You record them downwards. Then we have got the number of students. Nobody will tell you that that is your frequency. That is the frequency, which we have 39, that's 2, 72, 8, 6, 12, 6. You put it like that. So if you are calculating the mean height, then you need to get the x, and you also need to get your fx. Those two are in a must. There's no way you can get the mean for group data without introducing those two columns. They must be there. They must be there. So the x is simply the midpoints of these classes. This divided by this plus this divided by 2. That is going to be 290 divided by 2, which is going to be 145. This and this is going to be 155, 165, 175, 185, 195, 205, 215. You can confirm to add this plus this divided by 2. You get it done. After doing that, you now apply the f value times the x value for each and every class. The f value times the x value for each and every class. Like for example, the first class, we have got f is 3 and the x is 145. If you multiply them, what do you get?
435.
435. For the second class, 9 times 155.
1395.
Ule mwenye anasoma, there's somebody who is reading very well anasikia kabisa.
1395.
Yes. Your mic must be very okay. 32 times 165.
5280.
5280. 70 times 175.
12250.
12.
250. That is 70 or 72.
Sorry?
That is 70 or.
This is 72 times 175.
Sorry.
1265, 600.
12600.
12600. 8 times 185.
14,800.
Sorry?
14,800.
14,800, okay. 36 times 185.
7020.
70, 20, okay. 12 times 4, 5.
2460.
2460. 6 times 12, 215.
1290.
Then you add all the fx's value. You also add all the values of f. We get the sum of f, the sum of fx, because we are adding the fx for this, fx for this. So we add all the fx's to get the sum of all the fx's.
Fx is 45 to 80.
45 to 80. To 80. F
250.
to 50. So our mean for that particular question, our mean or x will be given by, we know the summation of fx over the summation of f is going to be 45 to 80 divided by 250.
181.12.
181.12 is the answer. 181.12 is the answer. That is how you get the mean. That is how you get the mean. So the key areas you need to understand is how you get the x. The x is the midpoints of the classes. Once you have the value of x, the same value multiplied by the frequency of that class to get the fx for that class. You get the x for this class, or this one is given, you get the x for that class, times the frequency that was given, you multiply, you get the other. You do the same for all the classes, the frequency times the x value. You do that, you add all of the fx's, you add all of the frequencies, then you divide the fx and the f, you get the mean. So x is determined by you. Fx is also determined by you. Then from there, you apply the formula appropriately.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Where you've concluded is you said it's 45 to 28 or 45 to 80.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be 45 to 28? And on the chart I can see 25 to 80.
You yourself, you got 45?
To 80.
That is what you got, 45 to 80.
Yeah. Yes. The sum of fx
is 45 to 80.
Yes.
See, that is what we also have here, 45 to 80.
Yes.
Or it looks like it is.
But where you've transferred it to the, where you're dividing to 50?
Okay, or to 80. Okay, I forgot to indicate that. Thank you. It was supposed to be 45 to 80. Okay, any question as far as calculating the mean from group data is concerned? So you need to be very careful on this question. If you look at the past papers for QM, you will rarely miss these questions. You rarely miss this question, especially the median, the mean, especially the mean and the others. For the group, that is the one that is normally tested. For ungroup, it is straightforward. So you need to be very careful and ensure you understand how they are calculated. How is the mean calculated? In most cases, you will be asked to do that. Even in this question that we have done, this question, it was talking about the median, and then Roman 2 is asking about the standard deviation. As you shall be able to see when we go to the measures of dispersion, you cannot get the standard deviation before you get the mean. The mean is a must. You must get the mean before you go to the standard deviation. And actually, if you look at the questions, the mean and the standard deviation, they are so much repeated. They are so much repeated. So you must be able to grasp the concept of calculating the mean. The mean. You understand how to do the mean, you also understand how to do the standard deviation, because it is an extension of this. It's an extension of that. Then we shall go to the median. Median. I don't know why I have this, but that will be like that will be talking again. But for the median, we know that it is the value that is at the median. The value that is at the center is the median. For the group data, the median.
You can't see.
Okay, let me adjust the camera, also the board. Median from group data, it is normally given by L plus N over 2 minus C over F. Then we multiply this part by. That is the formula, where F is the lower class limit of median class. Lower class limit of the median class. N is the total frequency, which is the same as the sum of F. C is cumulative frequency above the median class. F is the frequency of the median class, and lastly I is the class interval. I is the class interval. So basically that is how we compute the median. That is how we compute the median. We can have an example here, an illustration, a simple one, before we go to those big values, if you have got the marks. Then you have multiples. Yeah? That is the frequency. This is 5. And now you are told you determine the median. The question requires you to calculate or determine the median. There is no way you can be able to get the median before you have what we call cumulative frequency. You must create a column for that, commonly known as the CF. You must have the cumulative frequency column, which you will create you yourself. That one will never be given to you. So the cumulative frequency, it is just having the frequencies cumulatively done. Like here, what you do to get the cumulative frequency, you start with the first frequency, which is 3. Then you ask yourself, 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 8 is going to be 23. 23 plus 6 is going to be 29. 29 plus 2 is going to be 31. That is how you create the cumulative frequency. You start with the first one, first plus second, second equal. You just go adding them like that, you get your cumulative frequency. Always start with this one, you transfer here. Then this plus this, you get this. This plus this, you get this. This plus this, you get that, like that. So this is your cumulative frequency. So in short, if we add these f's, the summation of f is going to be equal to that one. If you add this is that one, which is the same as the last value in the cumulative frequency column. The last value in the cumulative frequency column. After doing that, you locate the median class. You locate the class where the median will fall. You determine the class where the median will fall. The median class is identified by doing n over 2. This part that we have here, n over 2 should give us the cumulative frequency where the median is going to lie. The cumulative frequency where the median is going to lie. Let me assist you understand this. When we say that the cumulative frequency for the first class is 3, we simply mean that the first 3 students, if we arrange the marks from the highest to from the smallest to the highest, that is, the first 3 students are going to have 0 to 5. If we arrange them, the first 3 they have 0 to 5. When we have 8 here, we mean the first 8 students, they scored between 0 and 10. They scored between 0 and 10. That is, those who scored 0 to 5 and those who scored 5 to 10 combined, that is why it is known as cumulative. Those who scored 0 to 5 and those who scored 5 to 10, those people combined, they are 8. Cumulatively, they are 8. So, in simple terms, because we have got those who scored between 0 and 5 and 5 and 10, then we simply mean that those who scored between 0 and 10, they are 8 students. So, the 8 here represents the 3 and this 5. So, 0 to 5, they are 3, 5 to 10. So, in short, from 0 up to 10, we have 8 students. When we talk about this 15, we simply mean that those who scored 0 to 5, 5 to 10, and 10 to 15. So it is this plus this plus this. That is where we get 15 from. So in short, we mean those who scored between 0 up to 15, they are this. Those who scored 0 to 20, they are this. 0 to 25, they are 29. 0 to the highest mark, that 1 students. The lowest mark is 0, the highest is this. So that is where the students can be able to score the marks and that one. So in short, we are saying those students who sat for that particular exam, they were that one. And their score is between 0 and 30. Or maybe that was a cut out of 30. The highest the person can score is 30, the lowest is 0, and the marks were distributed like that. So when we are talking about the median class here, we mean the class where the student with the median mark is going to be. Remember, we know that the median is actually the middle position, and the middle position is like taking the total divided by 2. Yeah? If you take the total divided by 2, it should give you the middle. So in this case, because we had that one student, if we divide by 2, the student number 15, the 15th student, the 15th student is the one that has our median mark, or the score of the 15th student is the score that is actually going to give us the median. So where will be the 15th student? If these are the first 3, the first 8, the first 15, we have the 15th student. The score of the 15th student is between 10 and 15. The score of the 15th student is between 10 and 15. So the median class is somewhere between 10 and 15. The score of that particular student is between 10 and 15. That is what we are calling the median class. And as you can look here, there's somewhere we say L is the lower class limit of the median class. So our median class, we know it, and the lower limit is actually 10. It simply means that L is 10. L is 10. The lower class limit of that median class, which is 10. Then N, we know, is the total frequency. N, we have established it, N is 31, the total frequency. C is the cumulative frequency above the median class. The key thing, it is the cumulative frequency. So the cumulative frequency above the median class. Remember, the median class was the cumulative frequency of data. The one that is above it is 8. So C is going to be 8. F is the frequency of the median class. If this is the median class, the frequency of that class is 7. I is the class interval. The class interval here we mean from 10 to 15, which is the same as 15 minus 10. Our I will be equal to 5. Having obtained all those values, then your work is very easy, is to substitute these values in our formula. We know that median is given by L plus n/2 minus C over F multiplied by I. So in this case, our L we know is n plus n/2. Actually, we calculated here. N/2 is that 1/2, which is actually it was 15.5. I think we messed there. That 1 divided by 2 is 15.5. That one will change everything. If it is 15.5, it simply means that 15.5 we have gone, actually it cannot be 15. 15.5 means that we consider this. We consider this. 15.5, it is actually a student, that particular student has gone to the other class because it is more than 15. We shall take this one as our median class, which is actually 15 to 20. 15 to 20. So always when you are picking your or rotating your median class in the cumulative frequency, if you don't have this figure, if you don't have this figure in the cumulative frequency, you take the one that is slightly higher than this, the one that is next. Because we don't have 15.5, we cannot take 15 because 15 is less than this. We take actually a slightly higher figure, so we shall use 23. We shall use 23. If that is the case, actually our R will not be 10, our R now will be 15. Our C will also change. The one that is now above is 15. C will be equal to 15. Our frequency will also change because this is our median class. Our F will be 8, like that. The I will not change because 20 minus 15 is 5. N will not change. So N over 2 is actually 15.5 minus C, which we know is 8, 15 rather, over F, which is 8, and then you multiply by 5. Then you multiply by 5 there. You do that computation, it gives you the median. It gives you the median score. It gives you the median score.
Mwalimu,
After that is said and done, let us see this question.
is L 10 or 15?
It is 15 because this is the class. We have said 15 to 20. That is, we have changed. Actually, our median class is 15 to 20. The lower limit of that class is 15. So this is the lower limit. This is the upper limit. You get the lower limit, which is 15.
But you have indicated they are 10.
Oh, I did not have that. 15. It's 15. I want us to consider that question 2 that we had, and we use it in calculating our median.
Excuse me, Maureen, before we go further.
Sorry?
Excuse me, before we go on,
Yes.
in that previous one, are we going to leave that one as the answer, or we are going to simplify it?
No, you compute to finish. Huh? You go on and you finish. This one is going to be what? You compute. I actually left it here because I thought it can be now easy. It's going to be 15 plus 15.5 minus 15. 15.5 minus 15 is going to give us 0.5 over 8, and then we multiply by 5. Then you work out 0.5 divided by 8 times 5 is what? If you can do that very fast, 0.5 divided by 8, the answer you get, you multiply by 5.
0.3.
0.31. 0.31. So it is going to be this 15 plus 0.31. So it is going to be 15.31.
15.31.
And actually, you can be able to see that this value 15.31, it is somewhere in the middle of this class, 15 to 20. That is how you do it. You go up to the final, but remember, you work out this part that is in the bracket first, and this R. You work it out completely, you get the answer. The answer that you get is the one you add to 15. You simply work out that part first, this part that is in the bracket, before you add the answer to L. Okay. We go to that question. The procedure remains the same as I said. You cannot be able to get the median before you have your column form to the frequency. So the relative frequency start with the first frequency 3 plus 9 is 12 plus this one will be 44 plus this one. One 116 plus this one is going to be 196 plus that one is 2 plus 30. 132 plus this one is going to be 144. Then this is 2. This is 2. Then we are going to have we are going to have it as 250, which is the same as this one. Once you have obtained the total frequency, you get the median class. That should be your next step. Locate the median class. The median class will have to be n over 2. The median class is simply n over 2, where n is the last value in the cumulative frequency column, or you simply add the frequencies. In this case, it's going to be 250 over 2, which will give us what? 125. Now, you ask ourselves, in the cumulative frequency, where will be the position 125? The employee or the student number 125, you just come here. Because we don't have 125, you cannot take 116. You cannot take 116 because 116, we are not yet to the 125th student. You take 196. You take, don't take the lesser value. Always take the value that is bigger than 125 if this 125 is not in the cumulative frequency. So we take 196. If 196 or the student number 125 is going to be among these 196, then this is going to be our median class. This is going to be our median class. The class where that student belongs. The class where that student belongs. If you find the median class is the class from 180 to 190, then automatically your R is 180, the lower limit of that class. Your C is the cumulative. Remember, we located that the middle student or the 125th student is going to be in 196. The cumulative frequency that is above that is your C. 116 is your C, the cumulative frequency above the one that you have located to be the frequency where, or the cumulative frequency where the median is going to fall. And then our F is the frequency of this, the individual frequency of this class, which is 80. Our I, it is the class interval between 190 to 180. You find that your I is going to be 10. The class interval is 10. From the lower limit all the way to the upper limit, it is an interval of 10. If you get that, you just come to the formula. You just come to the formula and say that we are supposed to get the median by doing R plus n over 2 minus C over F. Then you multiply by I. In this case, our R is 180 plus n over 2. We calculated that to 50 over 2 and we found it to be 125 minus C, which is 116, over F, which is 80, times I, which is 10. You find that this is going to be 180 plus 125 minus 116, that is 5 plus 4, that is 9, over 80 times 10, which is going to be 180 plus 9 divided by 80 times 10.
1.1.
1.1.
Yeah, 1.125.
1.1, eh?
Yep.
So the answer here will be 1 equal 1.1. That is the median. 1 is 1.1. So that is how we do it. That is how we do it for the median. For the median, you cannot get it without CF. You cannot get it without cumulative frequency. Get the total frequency. The total frequency that we are going to get divided by 2, so that you can be able to know the class in which the median is going to fall. Don't take the cumulative frequency that is less than your n over 2. Just take the one that is slightly higher than that. If there is no specific cumulative frequency that you have calculated, and then you move on, you get the answer, then you are good to go. Then you will be good to go. So I want us to absorb that. You have got the others. Can you give a try? the others, even if they are not asking the median, just calculate the median. Just calculate the median. Even question number 5, calculate the median for company A and the median for company B. Those are going to be two different values, two different answers. And then when I shall come here next, we shall do maybe 1 or 2 more. And then we look at the mode from the group data. And that will mark the end of the measures of central tendency. I'm going to supply you with the notes. We have got some theory parts, the characteristic of a good measure of central tendency, the advantages of median, the advantages of mode and all that. I'm going to share with you a document that has got all that information. And then with that, let us call the class for today over. We shall do it again on Friday. Thank you very much. Kuna mtu ako na swali? Any issue, any concern? Then we end the class. Enjoy your evening.
You too.
You too, Mwalimu.